I'm really proud of them. So let's bring them up. Bottled Armada.
Thank you. Thank you. You guys ready for some 3D? Alright, settle down, it's just 3D. It's completely awesome. Alright, my name is Mike Lazan. I'm one of the internal producers for Bottled Armada, and I'm really proud to introduce you to our team and our game. The name of our game is, of course, Olik's Redemption, and the guys responsible and dedicating their lives, the past few months of their lives, to this project, the development of this game, are here with me. On the right side, we have Jason Giannetti, Nate Olson, Andrew Bauman, Stephen Forsythe, Elijah Seeley, and over on the, I guess you're right, Ty Buseling, Urjan Hokelar, Gregory Pennington, Paul Bells, Ryan Frame, and Jonathan Grayson. Thanks. We got a lot to talk about, and not too much time to present it, so I'm going to pass it over to Jason here. He's going to talk about the game's backstory and some of the cool features we've been working on.
Thank you, Mike. Our name is Bottled Armada, and our name of our game is Olik's Redemption. Olik's Redemption is an adventure hack-and-slash game that takes place in the Viking universe. You play as Olik, and Olik is a lovable but clumsy small Viking child, and his day is about to change drastically. As the story starts out, Olik is visiting an altar of his fallen ancestors when he hears a distress horn from his village. He can clearly see that the village is under a barbarian attack, and he begins to panic. But at that point, the sword in the altar magically comes to life and begins to tell Olik that he's destined to be a hero and he's the only hope to save the village. So Olik grabs the helmet and he grabs the sword and he heads on down to do what he is destined to do. Now along the way, he'll come across several types of enemies. He'll have to fight wolves, barbarians, smarter barbarians, and who knows what else is out there waiting for him. And with the help of the sword, he'll have several attacks to take care of these enemies. He has a horizontal attack that can hit multiple enemies. He has a vertical attack that can hit one enemy multiple times. And he also has powerful rune magic that allows him to call down the power of lightning to vanquish his foes. With all these powers combined, you will be able to stop the barbarian horde and save your Viking village. And now over to Nate to talk about the art side of things.
Alright, thank you, Jason. So what we've got right here is the evolution of the level. To start off, we have the block out of the level, which just kind of helps us get a base established for where the player is going to be able to travel while they're playing the game, kind of get the path set. And then we move on to this right here. In this phase, we kind of just focus on the terrain. Aside from just where the player is going to be, we want it to, look pretty cool when you're playing it. Have some mountains going on, have some grass, focus on that type of stuff. And then, after that, we move on to the final version of the level. This is where we put in all the rocks, the trees, and really just try to bring the level to life. As you can see, we have the textures on everything, and I think that we, really did a good job trying to pull off that Norwegian fjordish feel that we were trying to get at the whole time. The challenges that we came across while making the game were, making it interesting. If we were to just turn in that blockout that you saw a couple seconds ago for the final level, it wouldn't have worked out too well. So it was pretty challenging making everything look good and, having enough objects placed throughout the level to just really bring it to life. The final challenge that we had, well, not the final, but another challenge was the revisions. You're always revising stuff, and even though it can sometimes be a little annoying, it really, really helps bring the game to life. Because when you're working on something for so long, you just have a hard time, thinking what could make this better. But as you're handing it off to your teammates, you're constantly improving on everything that you're doing, and it really does just bring the game together. Now, I'm going to hand it off to Andy for the tech side of things.
Thank you, Nate. I'm the tech lead for Bottled Armada, and I'm going to talk to you about one of the systems that we're really proud of, tech side, and that would be our camera rails. Our camera rails allow us to give you these sweeping views of our level and show you exactly what we want to show you. The problem with a lot of games out there is that if you let the player have control of the camera, sometimes it can break, and that will really jar you out of the experience of the game. So with these camera rails, it allows us to prevent you from doing that, and also show off key points of our level as you go along. This is what it looks like to us. This is in Maya, which is the program we use to model all of the things in our game. We developed a system that was very easy to use and easy to understand so that anybody could set up these rails in our level and get them in game quick as split. Our curves implement Bezier curves, which are really complicated, and I had no clue what they were until I saw this GIF. They involve control points that you then linearly interpolate across, and then it builds a Bezier curve. And then we use that Bezier curve as our camera rail. As you can see, the more control points you have to interpolate across, the more complicated it gets. So we limited ourselves to 4 control points on our Bezier curves, which gave us a smooth curve while not inhibiting our processing power. And now I'm going to hand it off to Stephen Forsythe for what went right and what went wrong.
Thank you, Andy. What we had go right was, from the very beginning, we had a very unified art style. When we decided on a child Viking game, we originally went with the idea of the French cartoon Asterix, where it's more or less he's not a child Viking, but it's a very cartoony style. This allowed the art team from week 2 to pretty much know exactly what we needed to do and get a cohesive look to the entire game. The other thing that we had work out really well for us was every day the entire team met together. While individually we may have been able to work faster from our home on our own computer, what generally would happen is you'd run into a problem that would take you an hour or 2 to fix. But more than likely somebody else on the team knew an easy answer, get it done in a minute. So individually we work better from home, but as a team we got through the game a lot faster when we all worked together. What didn't work out so well for us was initially we had 4 different versions of Maya on 2 different operating systems. And for anybody who's had to use this, it's a big no-no. Because when you're trying to convert between, 4 different versions of Maya, you're going to run into a lot of bugs and it's a lot of unnecessary issues. So what we decided to do was everybody got Windows and everybody got Maya 2009. And there is a much easier solution to it nowadays where Autodesk is allowing students to use Maya 2011. So for anybody in public speaking right now, that's an easy solution to this problem because everybody can just get it for free. The other problem we had was the language barrier between the artists and the programmers. When it comes up there, you see pretty much how the different ways that we would see lighting in the game. Whereas we would see it as a straight up color, they would see it as the numbers. And it was just having to pay attention to everything that's in there. In Photoshop, they give you the numbers for everything, but for the most part, the artist would just use a color picker, but that's not what we would need for the actual game. So it just came to everybody having to look at everything that all our programs had to offer to make communication easier. And now I'm going to hand it off to Ryan Frame for our gameplay demonstration.
How's everybody doing today? While we're getting set up here, I just want to make sure everybody got a pair of glasses as they were coming in. Does anybody still need glasses? If anybody needs glasses, just raise your hand and we'll get an EP around to you to get some glasses. Okay, you don't have to put them on just yet. I know a lot of people don't like 3D all that much. It kind of hurts their eyes or such. So we picked out a small section of the game that we're going to play it through in the 3D. And I'll let you guys know when we turn that on. So then we'll have everybody get their glasses on and I'll give you a little time to get that. Good. Start the game up here. And when we get to that, I'll let you know. But for now, you can keep them off and we'll let you know when to go ahead and put them on. Here's our splash screens here. Wise is the audio system that we're using. And here's our menu. First thing we're going to do is go ahead and adjust the brightness and gamma so everybody can see it. I know on the side screens it tends to be a little dark. And we're going to adjust this volume a little here so everybody can hear me. Turn the brightness up just a little bit more. I know it looks really bright right now, but in game it tends to be a little darker. So. Oh, I apologize. I didn't even introduce myself. My name is Ryan Frame, and playing the game we have Elijah Seeley. Good. Start it up here. Good to get our loading screen going here. Now, starting off, it's a small young Viking boy who all the elders in the village have left, gone out pillaging and left him behind because he's really goofy. And the sword's going to go ahead and take off the beginning of the story here for me. He sees this village under attack.
Your great grandfather, where are your elders? All gone hunting. Well then, Olik, that means it's up to us to save the village. You must take the old helmet and sword. As long as you possess that, I can lend you my strength and power. Fear not, Olik. I'll do the fighting. Just point me at those invaders and don't let go.
Okay, and Olik starts off up here on the hill overlooking the village under attack, and one of the first things you'll notice is our camera rail system.
If you sweep me over your head, the blow can knock an enemy senseless.
The sword's going to give you a little overview of the attacks that he has. The vertical attack stuns people and slows them.
Flying backwards. Hey, more bushes.
And then the horizontal attack, you can hit multiple enemies and knock them back. So if you get surrounded, you can knock them away. As you see here, our camera rail system gives us these beautiful cinematic views as the character goes through, and it allows us to control the camera. And right there, you just got clotheslined by a branch. This is where we show off our health system so the player can get used to it. After he takes too many hits, he loses his helmet, and he loses the magical protection it provides him. So he has to pick that up. And you see our beautiful environment here that our artists set up. They did a little bit too good a job of it. There's some wolves in there. Now, normally Olik just runs away from these wolves, but with that sword and helmet, they're a little bit too heavy for him to get away, so he's got to fight them. And you see him getting the stars over his head. The horizontal attack he kind of has to spin with, and it gets him a little dizzy. And if he does that too many times, he'll get dizzy, and he'll have to wait a second before he can get going again to fight the wolves. And the wolves are really fast. He kind of has to avoid their attacks, but they only take 2 hits and are easy to take down. As he comes around the corner here, there's a crate right there, and the big game faux pas. There's got to be something in the crate here. Get a little closer there. There we go. It's a rune. Now, in Norse mythology and such, they believe that these runes held magical protection and abilities, and apparently can kill a barbarian in 1 hit. And as he goes through the gate there, he gets himself another rune, and he'll come down here into the path. And we'll get to see more of the barbarians here, and another wolf. And there you saw our dodge, which allows them to kind of get out of the way of the barbarians as they're attacking if they get too close to them, and you can't horizontal attack and knock them back. As you see, the barbarians are all different. We have a random armor system that we have. As the barbarians spawn, they randomly pick what armor and weapons they have. And it allows us to have the same enemy, but give them a different look. And there's almost 200 different combinations of armor that our enemies can have. And go ahead and give yourself a second rune there. We saw the single rune. Give yourself a second rune, go ahead and use that. And he spins around in a big circle, and nobody was close to him. Somebody walked into it. But he spins around in a circle, and anybody close to him gets hit. And as you see, this crate's placed around for him to get some more. There's the single rune attack again, that vertical attack. And he cleared out those barbarians. There's one more wave in this area. Now, if you saw when you first walked in here, there was a split in the path. There is another area up along the top they could have gone. There's 2 different paths you can choose to go through. And he chose the lower path because it is a little bit easier, and for time constraints, it allows us to get through our game a little faster. No, it's been a long day, and everybody's getting a little tired here, so we'll try and make it as fast as we can. Now, as he clears out that area, there's another gate up here that'll open up and give him another room. And I didn't mention it, the other one, but as he crosses the bridge here, the torch lights up. The blue torches represent checkpoints, and if Olik does die anywhere or lose anywhere along the path, he can go back to any of those checkpoints. And go ahead and give yourself 3 runes real quick. We'll go ahead and show that off as we show the 2. Now the 3 rune attack will kill all the enemies that are on the screen at a time. He just spins around, has a big huge effect around him, and lightning swords come flying out of the sky into all of them. Now this last area here, we also have one other thing. We want to skip by this, but we're going to